Hello, my name is Ren Saraiba. For my Human Nature and Human Diversity presentation, the topic I will be discussing are unfamiliar religions. Every culture has a religion. Therefore, it corresponds to the idea that religions are part of human nature. Religion has always been a prominent part of human nature and diversity. Religion has existed since the beginnings of human society, and with there being so many different religions, this is also applicable to the idea of human diversity. Some early background on religion. It's obligatory to say that religion has existed for a long time. Early reports of religion dated back to the Upper Paleolithic revolution that occurred 50,000 years ago. Religion can be linked between agriculture. Early farmers in Mesopotamia were nomadic and eventually they began to settle into one area. Early Mesopotamians were polytheistic and believed in more than one god. They linked nature to religion, and they also depended on spirits and gods for rain and sunshine to cultivate their crops. To add on, they would also perform rituals or prayers to the gods. Early evidence of religions are also exhibited in cave art. Dr. Jean Claude believed that our ancestors were aware of spirits deep inside caves, hence cave art. They also believed that the supernatural world could be contacted in these caves. One example are the Garges Caves, which are located in France. The Garges Caves showcase some of their most earliest cave art. The Garges Caves featured 230 handprints that occurred during the Ice Age, and some of them can be traced back to as earlier as 28,000 years ago. These early humans believed that a supernatural power lived in these caves. They also believed that these caves were an area to contact spirits. So, why did religion begin? The main reason why religion began was to provide explanations for certain phenomena and things that made us wonder why did these things occur. They were mostly used to explain nature. Humans look to religion as an explanation for rain, sunshine, volcanic eruptions, tsunamis, earthquakes, and much more other things that occurred in nature. This is also deeply rooted into superstition and that rituals and sacrifice were performed for religion. Religion also provided hope and comfort for people, for in times of desperate need, religion was used as a place to hold on to hope and to provide comfort. There are many popular religions today, and they are mostly monotheistic. Christianity originated in the Middle East, specifically Jerusalem and Israel, and is today one of the most popular religions in the world. Judaism can also be traced back to Israel. Islam also emerged from the Middle East. People often believe that Islam started in Mecca and Medina. Buddhism can find its early traces in northern India, but eventually it manifested towards Asia and became one of Asia's most popular religions. Hinduism can find its trace through ancient India. So is that all? Are there more religions? The answer is obviously yes. There are actually thousands of other religions all over the world. Some unfamiliar religions include Voodoo, Confucianism, Sikhism, Shinto, Jainism, and Wicca. The presentation will go into more detail about these other religions. The origins of Voodoo. Voodoo originated in West Africa. Slaves were brought back from Africa into the New World. However, this manifested into the island of Hispaniola, which is mostly dominated by Haiti and the Dominican Republic. Some people believe that voodoo is different religions when it shifted from Africa to Haiti, and that Haitian voodoo and African voodoo are different. Soon, voodoo spread to New Orleans, where it became well known today. Voodoo is shrouded in mystery because there is no single founder and no absolute date for the origin. Today, voodoo is prominently practiced in West Africa, Haiti, Puerto Rico, Brazil, Cuba, the Dominican Republic, and the United States of America, most particularly New Orleans. Voodoo can also find its traces from small African tribe religions and African animism. Some circumstances of voodoo included the use of black magic and witchcraft. There are many different beliefs in voodoo. Voodoo beliefs and traditions vary from different places, as mentioned before. This means that voodoo in Haiti, voodoo in Africa, and voodoo in New Orleans are different from one another. And contrary to popular belief, it's not about spellcraft and hexes. African voodoo believed in the use of African animal sacrifices, while Haitian voodoo does not. Voodoo in Haiti and America also included some Catholic ideas and influences. Voodoo practitioners in Haiti also believe in good priests and evil sorcerers known as bokers, and they can curse others to become zombies, losing their soul, which is one of the most harmful and harsh punishments in the voodoo religion. In America, many voodoo practitioners predominantly migrated to New Orleans and follow practices from African and their Haitian ancestors. Voodoo also encompasses the use of philosophy, medicine, justice, and religion. Another fundamental idea of voodoo is that it believes that everything in the whole natural world is a spirit. One of the most prominent voodoo practitioners is Queen Marie Laveau. She was born as a free woman of color in 1794, and she died of old age in 1881. She was respected and feared by everybody in New Orleans, and many came to her to seek for help, medicine, and other sources of need. Voodoo in New Orleans became known as the capital of voodoo in the world. The video here shown is a little documentary from American Horror Story Coven that showcased voodoo. While the show is merely fiction, there are some aspects of voodoo in it which are completely true, and this can clarify some of the backlash and negative connotations that voodoo had.
New Orleans voodoo is often oversimplified. There's probably more bad information out there about what voodoo is than there is good information. It started with the Inquisition. They kill babies, they sacrifice them and then eat them. They have depraved wild orgies in the forest, and they serve Satan, and they're against God. And none of this is true. It's not about spellcraft and hexing people, and you don't stick pins into dolls. You don't try to make somebody's nose fall off or make somebody fall in love with you. It's a religion. Everybody knows the word voodoo and knows absolutely nothing about it.
The real people are never honestly public simply because of what Hollywood made out of voodoo, that to expose themselves is to expose themselves to ridicule. You don't pick voodoo. Voodoo picks you.
There is no way to practice voodoo or to experience voodoo without knowing something about the history of it. Slaves were taken from Africa, the Bambara people, and brought into the Americas. And then following the Haitian Revolution, 10,000 refugees came out of Haiti and entered into the port of New Orleans. This is a city that has a significant African presence. You've got these multi-layers of different, both waves of Africans and waves of colonizers, and you get an extra special kind of multinational interest in here. People come to me because universally we're all looking for the meaning of our immortal souls. Why are we alive? Why are we here? So a great deal of what I do is try to heal communities. The rituals of Vodou are surprisingly sophisticated, exquisitely beautiful, quite elegant, and incredibly creative.
Jazz is voodoo. The object of a New Orleans voodoo ceremony is to become possessed. You induce possession by dancing.
When you go through possession experience, it's an expansion that's almost indescribable, that you go beyond the borders of your own identity. You can get outside of yourself and experience the world from a completely different perspective. All of the different voodoo spirits have different likes and dislikes. It's as if you were inviting your grandmother to dinner, and you want to offer food and drink that she likes, and it's going to let her know that she's being welcomed and honored.
Some people are aware that there's possible giving offering, and some people do bring cigarettes, tobacco. But if I am needing to do a cleansing or prepare for a ritual, you can use alcohol or perfume, incense, etc. If you have nothing but you are the offering for the spirit. We all are the offering to the spirit.
Voodoo is a direct connection with the spirits. You don't have the intermediary of scripture. You don't separate sacred from secular in voodoo. You don't separate religion from recreation. Voodoo doesn't have a certain day or a certain place, so it's universal.
There are African and African American people that have this religious practice that may have a sort of supernatural powers that may help them if they feel that their neighbor is stealing their chickens or trying to steal their wife or up to no good.
You want to get a promotion and you're competing against someone else and you want him to have a car wreck. You have to go find a corrupt voodoo priest. What they do is they in turn know how to corrupt the spirits by bribing them. When the spirit is bribed, the spirit's whole personality changes. It's not the voodoo that's dark. It comes from the individual who in turn corrupts the spirit.
New Orleans' modern voodoo landscape is so complicated.
People look to New Orleans as being that mystical pole of mysterious forces coming up.
Vodou in itself is neither good nor bad. It's a power. Vodou actually took people out of slavery into freedom, out of the ordinary into the extraordinary, and out of being human beings to being spiritual beings.
The next religion is Wicca. Origins of Wicca came from the 16th and 17th century in Europe from northern pagans. During this time, coven of witches were hunted across Europe and the American colonies, and between 40,000 and 100,000 people were killed and accused of devil worshipping, cannibalism of children, and diabolism. Later on, scholars just assumed that this was hysteria by peasants. However, Wicca as a religion was officially introduced by Gerald Gardner in the 1950s. This is when he published High Magic's Aid and Witchcraft Today. Many Wiccans today don't view Wicca as how it was back in Europe in the old times. It's not a direct religion from their ancestors, but it's more of a modern reconstruction. Gerald Gardner was a British servant, and he joined the coven in 1939. In 1949, he wrote a book about Wicca and revealed some of the religion's old beliefs and consequences that they faced, with many rituals, symbols, and concepts of Freemasonry, which allowed the coven's beliefs to flesh out. Most of these beliefs were forgotten. Witchcraft Today, published in 1954, added more details about the Wiccan faith. Some beliefs about Wicca. They believed in meeting in covens. Covens usually consisted between 10 to 15 members. They must also enter initiation rituals. These initiation rituals included getting familiar with witchcraft and magic. This is also symbolic to rebirth. Magic is harnessing and redirecting natural energy to reflect change in the world around us. Wiccans do use specific tools such as wands, herbs, crystals, and candles to channel their magic. They also believe in the goddess and respect nature. They also believe in something known as the divine. The divine is present in nature, and so the Wiccans believe that nature should be honored and respected. Everything in nature is sacred, hence why Wiccans respect nature. They are also polytheistic and pantheistic. The next religion is Confucianism. Unlike the past two religions that we have discussed, Confucianism is more of a philosophy rather than a religion. Confucianism can trace its roots back to ancient China around 500 BCE. As mentioned before, many scholars argue that it's not a religion, but rather than a philosophy, because it is based on the teachings of Confucius, who is pictured on the right. After the downfall of the Zhou dynasty, many people were selfish and they only cared about themselves. Confucianism was used and was made to stop the downfall of the Chinese society. Confucianism beliefs. It became a social order for China and taught individuals that social relationships are a necessity. These beliefs played a dominant role in Chinese society. They also believed in 5 virtues. The first virtue, Ren, which is humanness. Humaneness can be defined as the quality of compassion for other individuals, and this could also be included for people and animals. The 3 concepts of Ren are love, humanity, and mercy. The second virtue is Yi. Yi means honesty and righteousness. The third virtue, Li, means propriety and correct behavior and obedience. Ji, the fourth virtue, stands for wisdom and knowledge. The fifth virtue is Zin, which stands for fidelity and sincerity. With the ideas of Confucianism, they believed that this could bring harmony and respect to the Chinese society. Confucianism also had a strong emphasis on respect for parents, elders, and ancestors. They also believed that learning is important and that knowledge is infinite. In fact, Confucius, the scholar, wanted to ask a 7-year-old to teach him something just because that 7-year-old knew something that Confucius didn't know. The next religion, Sikhism. Sikhism can trace its roots to Punjab, which is modern-day India and Pakistan, in the 1500s. Quite distinct from Hindu and Islam, Guru Nanak Dev was born into a Hindu family living in Talwandi of Punjab and began to question Hindu rituals he observed at an early age. Nanak spent his many hours meditating and was scolded for his family by doing this. He also astounded his teachers because he was very poetic and spiritual at such a young age, and he would often refuse partaking in Hindu ceremonies. He used his money to help the poor and believed in helping others. Nanak is said to have a call from God to be a guru. Sikhism was originally a pacifist religion, but soon became militant. Sikhism is also a monotheistic religion. They believe in one God only. Sikh means seeker of knowledge in Punjabi. To add on, they also believe that men and women are equal before God. And unlike other religions in India, this refused the idea of the caste system and believed that no matter what, all individual humans are equal. They also believed in reincarnation or samsara and karma. To add on, Sikhs also wear a Kara bracelet. These are steel bracelets that usually have an engraving on them. They're worn on the right wrist for men and left for women, and serve as a reminder for the close bond the person has with God. It's also served as a reminder for protection. The next religion, Shinto, is one that's shrouded of mystery. It originated in Japan in the 6th century. Shinto is very mysterious because there's no exact founder and no official sacred text to Shinto. It is one of Japan's most prestigious religions, with Shinto meaning the way of the gods, and was derived from the Chinese word of the same meaning, known as Shintao. Just like Buddhism, Shinto established itself and similar to Buddhism because they believe in the concept of happiness and human nature. 84% of Japanese people are Shinto. Some beliefs of the Shinto. They also believe in kami, who are believed to have created the universe. Kami are sacred and divine beings. Kami aren't limited to spiritual beings, but also white in nature, such as rivers, trees, oceans, and mountains. Some kamis are Amaterasu, the sun goddess, Susanoo, storm god, Tsukiyomi, the moon god, and Leech Child. They also conceived Japan's 8 islands. There are also 4 affirmations of the Shinto. They are tradition and family, which preserves traditions through celebration, especially birth and marriage. The love of nature is also an affirmation. They value the sacredness of the natural life as spirits to be worshipped in order to have a stronger contact with the gods. Physical cleanliness is also another one, by washing hands, body, and mouth. Matsuri, which is given to the kami and ancestors to worship and obedience. To add on, Shintos also believe in the afterlife. The spirits also live in another world. This is mentioned in the Kojiki, Ancient Matters, and the Nihon Shoki, Chronicles of Japan. It tells that the kami is present in both worlds. Shinto is not focused on the afterlife, but life while you are alive. The next religion, Jainism, can trace its early roots in the early 7th century in eastern India. Just like Shinto and Voodoo, there is no single founder. However, to this day, there are more than 4.2 million Jains in India. Jains believe that plants and animals contain souls and should be treated with compassion and respect. Just like Shintos, they believe that nature is an important part of humans and life. Jains are also strict vegetarians, and they also believe in the concept of reincarnation, which is a cycle of birth, life, and death. There are also three principles that are commonly followed by Jains, which are commonly referred to as the three jewels. The three jewels are the right belief, right knowledge, and right conduct. Jainism has no priests, but instead it's led through monks and nuns. The supreme principle of Jainism is ahimsa, which is nonviolence. The Jains are pacifists. In this image, you could see some Jain temples. They are used for places of worship, and they also have different names for them. Derasar is a word used for temples in Gujarat and Rajasthan. Basid is a Jain shrine or temple. Some etiquette approach when entering a Jain temple is that the individual must bathe and wear fresh clothing or some puja, which is worship clothing. Eating is not allowed in these temples and should not wear any footwear in these temples. The temples are peaceful and quiet, and people visiting these temples should try to maintain the peaceful and quiet atmosphere. Additionally, one should refrain themselves from using phones and technology and respect the temple. So in conclusion, religion is predominantly about peace and harmony, which is one thing that humans want. It's human nature that people want to live in a prosperous world and that we could all be happy. This truly corresponds to the idea of human nature, and with the idea of there being many religions, and there are even more that I have not even mentioned in this PowerPoint, this shows that the world and humans are truly diverse.